Good morning, Tampa Bay. Let's get your day started. This is ABC Action News, taking action for you.
He was an icon of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Former defensive coordinator Monte Kiffin has died. Now at 6 o'clock, how the team and two of his former players are remembering him this morning.
Everyday Americans are still struggling to make ends meet, and we need to make sure we continue to think about that.
And the focus is on the economy after the release of the latest inflation report, what this could mean for interest rates and the prices we're all paying. We'll have that coming up. Good morning, Tampa Bay. Happy Friday to you. Thank you for waking up with us. I'm Dia Riley.
And good morning, everybody. I'm James Tully. We made it to Friday. We did. It was a very eventful week in the weather department, Greg. Lots of storms. We could catch up on those rain totals a bit as we enter Friday here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we're already seeing a couple of showers out there, James. Look at this one tall cloud. They've been popping up all over the place this morning. Right in front of that rising sun, a little downpour in the distance as you look east from Clearwater this morning. Sunrise 6:42, sunset 8:29, 91.77 the normal split today. That's where most of us will be close to. We're in the 70s now. It was very stormy south of I-4 overnight. Sarasota, Wauchula, Arcadia, Sebring, Avon Park, big thunderstorms overnight. Those have now pushed down into south and southwest Florida. Behind those, we've seen these little showers and downpours across Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pinellas County. Right now, one of the biggest downpours right there just north of Pinellas Park, Largo Seminole area, Boca Ciega down towards St. Pete Beach. Heavy rain falling right now. If this holds together, that could impact 275 as you're coming onto the Dick Meisner Bridge headed toward the Skyway. Finally, Sarasota, Northport, and Arcadia clearing out. It is dry for now, but if you are traveling southbound on 75, you will catch up with this rain as you approach Port Charlotte and eventually Fort Myers and Naples. And it's a wet drive from Naples over toward Fort Lauderdale this morning across Alligator Alley. Temperatures in the low 90s this afternoon. There will be some more pop-ups later today, and still looking at a lot of clouds and rain chances. They're going to stay high as we head into the weekend. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up. Jazz, good morning. What's popping up on your map?
Greg, good morning to you. Right now what's popping up is the fatal crash that happened overnight in Osprey, so south of Sarasota. This is on US 41. It looks like we still have an issue, US 41 southbound. Drivers, we have a road blockage there between Bay Street and Bay Avenue, so avoid that if you can. Otherwise, Hillsborough looks really, really good. Right now, Manatee County, drivers who are taking the bridges, they look lovely at this time. I'll check in with the drive times when I come back, but James, I'll send it back to you.
Jazz, thank you. We're going to start with a developing story in Sarasota County here. The Sheriff's Office and Florida Highway Patrol investigating a deadly crash overnight. We did confirm a deputy's vehicle struck and killed a bicyclist. Right now, all north and southbound lanes of Tamiami Trail are closed at Bay Street in Osprey. Our assignment desk making calls to learn more about what happened here, and we will bring you an update as soon as we get it.
Also this morning, we're taking a closer look at the latest inflation report. Some economists believe the Federal Reserve could soon cut interest rates.
That's right. ABC Action News reporter Larissa Scott live in Tampa breaking down what this could mean for everybody if it happens. Larissa, good morning.
Hey, good morning, James and Dia. Experts are telling me they think that consumers need to keep a close eye on what's happening with the economy right now. That's because they believe the Fed could cut those interest rates sooner rather than later. And again, the next Fed meeting is at the end of this month, and we'll keep you updated on what they decide to do with those interest rates. I'm live in Tampa this morning. Larissa Scott, ABC Action News.
Thank you, Larissa. Tributes are pouring in this morning for former Buccaneers defensive coordinator Monte Kiffin. He died yesterday. He was 84. Kiffin was with the Bucs for 13 seasons from 1996 to 2008. He was inducted into the Bucs Ring of Honor in 2021. He helped develop the Tampa 2 defense that played a pivotal role in the Bucs' victory over the Oakland Raiders in Super Bowl 37. Take a look at this right here. The team posted this photo on X showing Kiffin with Hall of Fame linebacker Derek Brooks, noting he was one of the most iconic coaches in NFL history. In fact, several of the Hall of Famers that he coached in Tampa are paying tribute this morning. Here's one right here. Cornerback Rondé Barber writing, quote, "The man stood tall behind us all, true greatness personified. Love you, Monty." And then this one here. Defensive tackle Warren Sapp writing, quote, "We're going to miss you, Big Kiffin. Thanks for everything. Hashtag one of a kind." James, he was an icon in the Tampa Bay community. The Bucs website says he was the longest tenured coach in Bucs franchise history.
The architect for so much success down here in Tampa with the Buccaneers for sure. After the break, President Biden tries to put to rest questions about his candidacy. We're going to break down the key moments at his news conference last night right after this.
11 minutes after 6 o'clock on this Friday, watching for some clouds popping up to the west of our studios there in Pinellas County. Some of these have been producing some downpours. I'll show you those on radar. And we're going to talk about heavier rain coverage as we head into the weekend. I'll take you through Saturday and Sunday, hour by hour, coming up. James.
Thanks, Greg. Here's a look at your top stories right now. The armorer on the set of the movie Rust is expected to take the stand today in Alec Baldwin's manslaughter trial. However, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's attorney says she will not cooperate and will plead the fifth. She is serving an 18-month prison sentence for her role in the shooting death of the film's cinematographer, Helena Hutchins. Yesterday, a crime scene technician testified she found multiple live rounds on the movie set. This morning, the Labor Department will release its June report on producer prices. It's an indicator measuring inflation at the wholesale level that hits businesses before they pass costs along to the consumers. U.S. producer prices unexpectedly fell in May amid lower energy costs. Experts say it's another indicator inflation's starting to ease up. And President Biden heading to Detroit today for a campaign event as he faces mounting pressure from his own party to drop out of the presidential race. A dozen Democratic lawmakers have now publicly called for the president to step aside. Biden easily carried Detroit in the 2020 election against former President Trump and was able to flip Michigan and win its 15 electoral votes.
Well, from foreign policy to the November election, President Biden, of course, tackled questions from reporters during his evening press conference. As you just said, the president's been under fire since his poor performance in that first presidential debate, and he was hoping that this unscripted news conference would put to rest those questions about his candidacy.
And Scripps News congressional correspondent Stephanie Liebergen breaks down what happened.
15 minutes after 6 now, she lost her daughter to addiction, and now she fears losing her only grandchild to a state law that she believes strips grandparents of their rights when a parent dies. Sheila Mayeski is talking to ABC Action News. She is fighting for more rights for grandparents in Florida when an adult child dies. She tells us she hasn't seen her only grandchild in 7 months because the child's father won't let her. Mayeski, who helped raise the 7-year-old when the child's mom was still alive, says after her daughter lost her battle with drug addiction a few years ago, the child's father went to court and got full custody. And since then, visits with her granddaughter have decreased. She says she can't even talk to her on the phone now.
There needs to be a protection in the state of Florida for grandchildren and grandparents to be able to maintain that connection once a child has passed away.
Why is that so important to you?
It's so important to me because she means everything to me. She's my granddaughter, and I love her.
Later tonight, ABC Action News investigative reporter Katie LaGrone explores grandparents' rights in Florida and why a change in law is unlikely to happen.
You can help a local gym that gives veterans and adaptive athletes a place to train. Impact Fitness started with the goal of helping middle and high school athletes. The founder had a friend who had just gotten out of the military and started volunteering with the Wounded Warrior Project. He told him they need more gyms to offer fitness to veterans, so Impact Fitness stepped up, and now they help train about 8 veterans and adaptive athletes at this gym in Lutz.
What's the most rewarding part working with these veterans?
Giving them years in life back, giving them joy, finding some purpose and passion, something to wake up towards. Seeing all the different people who walk in our door, right? You have older adults, you have younger kids, you have people in wheelchairs, you have people walking in here on crutches, or some people without a leg. They're another person to us, they're another part of the family.
They even have a nonprofit called Heroes Adapt, where they put equipment into veterans' homes free of charge. These machines allow them to work out without ever leaving their wheelchair. They've been able to donate 6 machines, but they're very expensive, so we're raising money to help them get more into their local veterans' homes. Just head over to abcactionnews.com/gives or scan the QR code on your screen. Any amount will help.
Any amount. Well, tomorrow night, the Tampa Bay Rowdies take on Orange County SC at Al Lang Stadium in St. Pete. It will be the team's first home game in nearly a month. About halfway through the regular season, the Rowdies found themselves in 4th place in the USL Championship's Eastern Conference. The Rowdies are hosting a school supply drive at tomorrow's game, and if you donate 4 or more items, you'll receive a ticket voucher for a game this season. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30. But Greg D, what's the weather going to be like for that game?
Definitely going to be hot and humid, though I think the rain hopefully will maybe already be done by then. Good morning, everybody. Take a look at the Saharan dust tracker. I know we've been dealing with it the last couple of days, but this cloud of dust that's been hanging over central Florida is starting to push south into the southern Gulf of Mexico. That one in the central Atlantic will move across the Bahamas this weekend and could move back into Florida by early next week. So we may have a little bit more haze in the air at times as we start off next week. West winds 5 to 10 knots out over the water, 1 to 2 foot seas out over the Gulf of Mexico. Looking at the radar in the wide view, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on, but you look at it a little closer, there you see this little area of showers keeps feeding little downpours into Pasco County. A couple of these have made it into Hillsborough, though right now the Tampa area is drying out, and we do have a couple more showers offshore of Pinellas County, St. Pete Beach, Paso Grill getting a little bit of rain right now. South of I-4, we've cleared out very nicely with most of the rain now out of the picture. Low pressure continues to spin off the East Florida coast. That's going to continue to do so and head up towards the Carolinas. Still generally influencing our weather just a little bit today, so we'll see these coastal showers early, then some pop-ups in the afternoon. Generally along and south of the I-4 corridor is where most of the rain will be. Tomorrow and Sunday are going to play out very similar. Sunday likely heavier coverage, but there's going to be some rain along the coast in the morning and throughout the day. At any time you could get a shower or thunderstorm this weekend with your temperatures holding in the low 90s. Jazz?
All right, Greg, I wanted to start off with this great shot here of the Howard Franklin. Absolutely gorgeous shot. This is for drivers who are heading kind of toward that West Shore area, making their way toward Hillsborough. No issues at all on our bridges, but I thought you'd like to see it for yourself. Right now, for the most part, our map is in really good condition, except for the issue on US 41 closer, I'd say south of Sarasota, the Osprey area. That's between Bay Street and Bay Avenue. That's a blockage that we have due to that fatal crash overnight. Otherwise, the rest of our map is in really good shape. 275, 75, and I-4 included. So, James, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Jazz. Coming up, how much more are you willing to spend to remove potentially cancer-causing forever chemicals from the food and water supply? Ahead, the amount Americans are willing to pay and why it may not be enough.
And also, comedian Chevy Chase is coming to the Tampa Bay area, the holiday event that he's scheduled to appear at, and when you can get tickets.
Here's a look at your Tampa Bay area drive times.
At Farah & Farah, we do big things. We don't shy away from tough fights, and we've proven we can win big cases. Caring, understanding, and hard work is how you win. Farah & Farah, here for you, here for good.
ABC Action News is sponsored by Rubenstein Law.
So new this morning, Americans may be willing to pay a bit more money to ensure potentially cancer-causing forever chemicals called PFAs are removed from our food and water supplies. That's according to a new study from the University of New Hampshire. Researchers determined the average U.S. household is willing to shell out $157 a year to better protect their family. And it turns out that amount of money wouldn't be close to covering municipal level treatment costs. They say a home water treatment system, which runs around $500, may be a more cost-effective option than a citywide system.
Planned for plenty of traffic around Raymond James Stadium this afternoon. Country music star Morgan Wallen's second Tampa concert is being held there tonight. Parking lots open at 2:30. The stadium's gates open at 4:30. The concert starts at 6. A limited number of tickets for the show are still available. Meanwhile, the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater will be rocking this weekend. Former Van Halen lead singer Sammy Hagar is bringing the Best of All Worlds tour to Tampa Sunday night. The concert starts at 7. A limited number of tickets for this show are also available.
And actor Chevy Chase is coming to Tampa later this year. He's going to appear at a screening of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation on Sunday, December 1st at the Straz Center. After the movie, Chase will share behind-the-scenes stories about the making of the film and answer questions from the audience. Tickets start at $40, go on sale at 10 this morning on the Straz's website. And tonight you can listen to some great jazz music and laugh along with some good comedians while supporting local homeless veterans. The Center for Manifestation on East Lake Avenue in Tampa is hosting Jazz Jokes at 7 o'clock. Grammy-nominated jazz artist Nathan Mitchell and comedian Goldie and Barack Amin are performing at the event. All proceeds raised will help build a tiny home village in East Tampa for veterans. Ticket prices start at $20.
You may want to head to the post office today or tomorrow. Coming up, how much more you'll have to pay for a stamp starting this Sunday.
And saying goodbye, how you can pay tribute tomorrow to a Citrus County firefighter who died in a boating crash on July 4th.
Good morning, Tampa Bay. Let's get your day started. This is ABC Action News, taking action for you.
Flooding continues to impact a mobile home park in Lakeland. Now at 6:30, we're listening to concerns from people who live there about a permanent fix.
As a single mother, the costs associated with doctor's fees and shots and dentists, they can pile up.
And one local mom is relying on a free healthcare clinic to get her kids ready to go back to school. Taking a closer look at that program this morning. That is coming up. It's Friday. Isn't that a good feeling, everybody? I'm James Tully.
And good morning, I'm Dia Riley. Yes, it is. I want to check in now with Greg D to make sure that our weather is going to hold up so that we can get out and do some fun things this weekend.
It's looking more promising this morning than it has over the last couple of days. First of all, we're not seeing overcast conditions. There are lots of clear skies out there, and as you look east from our studios, it certainly is a lot less hazy, and that is certainly good news. 82 in Tampa right now, though it's feeling like 90. It's still hot. Temperatures in Clearwater also in the upper 70s and low 80s. We've seen a couple of clouds popping up here with a little bit of rain from time to time. 75 the current temperature. Good visibility as you look back toward the east. It's 78 in Lakeland, 73 in Inverness, Sarasota 78, 74 in Avon Park. Rain finally winding down in our southern counties this morning, but we're still seeing some showers coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. 19 is really being impacted from Port Richey, Newport Richey north toward the Hernando County line. We're also getting some showers and a couple of downpours popping up across Pinellas County, Largo, Seminole, back over toward Pinellas Park, and portions of South St. Pete picking up a little bit of rain this morning. Rain over Hillsborough is starting to fall apart. Clouds off to the east of us, but there is some drier air with a little bit of clearing coming in from the north right now. That'll mean a little bit more sunshine today, and hence some hotter temperatures too. I think by midday we're in the upper 80s and then solidly into the low 90s this afternoon. And once we get into the 90s, some more pop-up showers and storms are likely. We'll take a look at that coming up. Jazz, gorgeous sunrise behind you this morning.
I know. There's so many to choose from today with my cameras, so I'm going to keep pulling them up as long as I can get them. I-4 right now, this is what we're looking at. This is Alexander Street. Drivers who are making their way westbound, no issues right now. Looks really good out there, not just optically, but also, I mean, as far as the commute goes, it's in really good shape. For the most part, even the drive times are still pretty steady. So 275 heading southbound from Bush to I-4, you've got about 6 minutes, and the rest of our map in really good shape for the most part as well. 75 drivers making their way toward Progress Village, Riverview, Gibsonton. You guys are having no issues right now, which is kind of new since we've had some off and on problems this week, but right now that's not the case. Dia, back to you.
Thank you, Jazz. 6:32 now. We are exactly 1 month away from the start of school here in the Bay Area. The first day of school is August 12th. And to make sure that your child is ready, the nonprofit Project Linked is holding its back-to-school health clinics this weekend.
Now, the clinics offer free health care services to students who need it. ABC Action News reporter Keely McCormick giving us a closer look at the program and who's eligible.
Thank you so much, Keely. We know getting the kids ready to go back to school can be really stressful for parents, and we want to help you. Grab your phone, scan this QR code right here. This is going to take you to a form on our website. Send us any questions you have for local school leaders, any concerns you have about this new school year, and what you need help adjusting to. Your comments will go directly to our newsroom. We've assembled a team to sort through them, and we will work to get answers for you.
Well, tomorrow you're invited to say farewell to Citrus County Fire Training Captain Michael Fletcher. Fletcher died in a boating accident on July 4th. His funeral procession will leave Station 9 in Crystal River around 9:45 tomorrow morning, and it'll go to Seven Rivers Church in Lecanto. The service begins at 11 a.m. If you plan on attending, you're asked to carpool because parking space is very limited.
Tomorrow is your last chance to buy Forever stamps at their current price. Starting on Sunday, they'll cost 73 cents, a nickel more than the current price of 68 cents. Prices for other services are also increasing, including postcards and metered letters. The Postal Service says the price hikes are necessary to achieve financial stability as part of a 10-year plan it announced in 2021. It is the second increase in stamp prices this year.
Here at ABC Action News, we made it our mission to elevate your voices and spotlight the concerns that you bring to us. And this morning, we're doing that in Lakeland. Some residents at the Citrus Center Colony Mobile Home Park say they've been dealing with flooding for years. It happened again just this week during an afternoon rainstorm. A few of the neighbors are finally speaking up because they think the community's owners can and should do more. They think the community's stormwater infrastructure is to blame.
As far as the piping goes, we had a past manager 3 years ago tell us that the pipes are this big, and what we need is the mobile home park to dig up the roads and incorporate bigger pipes that are this big or bigger to take in all of the water.
So far, we've been unable to get answers from Citrus Center Colony. In the past 2 days, we left 5 separate messages, but have not received an answer yet. We intend to keep trying. We're always committed to amplifying your voice. Take out your phone, scan the QR code on the screen. It'll take you to a form on our website. Fill it out. Let us know about concerns you have, especially if there are any involving infrastructure. We read every single comment so we can work on getting you the answers that you're looking for.
A heads up if you drive on State Road 50 in eastern Hernando County. Starting tomorrow morning, a portion of that road in Ridge Manor is going to be closed for nearly 2 weeks. The closure is necessary to allow crews to put up beams for a bridge that will go over the railroad tracks on State Road 50 just east of US 301. For about 12 days, traffic will be detoured using US 301 and Burwell Road. Officials say this is a lengthy detour, so plan extra time to compensate.
More than 10,000 athletes are preparing to compete in the Paris Olympics coming up. The special connection 36 of those athletes from around the world have.
And also, we're breaking down a beach renourishment project underway now in Pinellas County. How phase 2 of the project will help deal with sand erosion caused by Hurricane Idalia. Greg?
And take a live look outside this morning over toward our studios, looking back toward the east. This is promising. Fewer clouds, more clear skies. We'll see a lot more sunshine to start the day. I'll tell you how much you'll see as we go into the weekend coming up in just a few minutes. Time now is 6:38. Good morning.
18 minutes till 7. Here's a look at the morning's top stories. Dozens of families escaped a massive fire overnight that destroyed an apartment building in Philadelphia. 3 people suffered minor injuries. It took crews several hours to get these flames under control. Those families now have to find new places to live. One woman said she was in the shower when the smoke alarm went off. She said the good thing is we're all alive, and that's all that matters. Former President Trump wants to see his New York hush money conviction dismissed after the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity last month. In a 55-page filing, Trump's lawyers argue the jury's guilty verdict should be vacated because the district attorney's office relied on evidence at the trial related to Trump's official acts as president. The district attorney's office says it will respond to the filing later this month. This summer's heat is breaking records. According to the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service, June became the 13th consecutive month to break a global heat record. Here in the U.S., June was the second warmest month on record. And according to the National Centers for Environmental Information, last month ranked among the top 10 warmest Junes on record for 20 states.
The 2024 Summer Olympics begins 2 weeks from today in Paris. More than 10,000 athletes will be competing during the Games, including 36 who will compete as part of the Refugee Olympics team. They're athletes who fled their home countries like Syria, Cuba, and Afghanistan. The team first created in 2016 as a symbol of hope and to call attention to the plight of athletes who don't feel safe in their home country. The 36 athletes will compete in 12 sports. While winning gold is the goal here, for many, just making it to the Olympics is a victory in it. And we're still 2 months away from the peak of hurricane season, if you can believe it. But this morning, Manatee County officials are ready to answer any questions you have about getting ready for a storm, the difference between a flood zone and an evacuation zone, and where shelters are located. They're hosting a hurricane season Q&A from 10 to 11:30 a.m. at the Emergency Operations Center on 47th Terrace East in Bradenton. And Greg, if you have any questions or unsure of anything, that's a good place to go.
Absolutely, James. I've had a lot of questions myself this week about all the Saharan dust that's been present in our sky. So let's go into the details on what's going on here. Let me take you in to where this all begins, and that's in West and Central Africa. During the summertime months, heat builds up over the Saharan desert, sand causing vertical motion over the continent. That literally lifts dry little sand particles into the upper parts of the atmosphere. Some of these sand particles are lifted as high as 40 to 60,000 feet. Then they get caught up in the upper level winds and carried across the tropical Atlantic towards South America, the Caribbean, and the United States. All that sand present in the atmosphere starts to have an impact on things in the atmosphere and below as well. Number one, the dust causes sunlight to be reflected back out into space. It's like a little filter in the atmosphere. That causes the Atlantic to cool. During periods of high dust activity, the temperatures can drop a little bit out in the Atlantic basin. The second thing that this dust does is it's accompanied by a lot of dry air. So when you look at the ingredients that you need for a tropical system, one of them being abundant moisture and temperatures of the water at 80 degrees or higher, the sand combats both of those, reducing tropical activity because of dry air and cooler water temperatures while it's present. This actually happens every single year. And you may not have noticed, but the reason why the Amazon rainforest is where it is and exists the way it does is because it is fertilized by sand from the Sahara, traveling across the Atlantic Ocean, providing food for that entire ecosystem. It really is an incredible machine. It shows you how the Earth is connected. The weather that's happening here can be influenced by something that's happening thousands of miles away. This morning, as we take a look outside, great news from the Clearwater camera. We've got mainly clear skies and good visibility out there. As you look toward the east, I am not seeing a lot of haze. I'm not seeing a lot of dust in the air. And for the first time in the last 3 to 4 days, the sun, it's out. It's so nice to see. I've missed the sun. I know it's scorching this time of year, but yesterday I posted on my Facebook page, you know what, I need to see the sun. I know it's going to be hot when it comes out, but I want to see it. A lot of you disagreed. A lot of you love the cloudy skies here in July. It does keep things cooler. So we're in the 70s and 80s now. As you look at the dog walking forecast for today, say good morning to Dakota and Cody. Look at these cute pups. Dakota's the one up here on the step. Cody's below in the bed. 70s to the upper 80s very quickly this morning. So unlike yesterday, when we kind of held things in the 80s for much of the morning, we're going to very quickly go into the 90s today because of more sunshine. So back to early morning, longer dog walks or really late in the evening. The trick is there's a couple of showers that we're tracking this morning as well. Not too many. This afternoon, there's going to be a couple more. So the driest part of the day will actually be midday. That's going to be about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can see that really well in the hour-by-hour rain planner with most of the rain chances this morning and then late into the afternoon. On the radar this morning, we've seen a couple of showers coming in off the Gulf, but these have really broken up in the last 30 minutes or so. So far, a couple of sprinkles, but nothing too bad. As we go through the day, as the sun does peek through today, and we will see the low 90s, expect the morning showers to take a break midday and then additional pop-ups this afternoon. Most of these along and south of I-4. Heading out to the big concert at Ray J tonight. I think it stays dry. Now, that show starts so early, 6 p.m. It is going to be scorching hot, really uncomfortable with a heat index probably near 100 as you're taking your seats around 6. Tomorrow, rain could start in the morning along the coast, and with a very light flow of winds, I think there's going to be storms all over the place, bouncing all across the peninsula tomorrow. And I don't think that changes on Sunday. In fact, I think Sunday's coverage could be heavier. But if there is one thing that seems a little clearer, more of an east to west flow on Sunday. So lower rain chances in the morning, but much higher along the coast in the afternoon and evening. Sunday may be easier to plan some outdoor activities earlier as we may start the day a little drier. Next week, rain coverage stays high, 60 to 70%, which is very typical for the month of July. Jazz?
All right, Greg. Well, let's take a quick drive out to Gibsonia. That's who I want to talk to, my Gibsonia commuters. Right now, we've got a left lane blockage that's on US 98 southbound. This is just before you get to Griffin Road. So drivers, if you're concerned about that, take 33. That'll get you southbound with no issues at all. For right now, that looks like it's pretty smooth. Also, speaking of smooth, I-4 is off to a really, really good start. In fact, I just love the camera work here. I-4 at Alexander Street. I pulled this one up last time, but it looks even more beautiful now as the sun continues to rise. Beautiful skies, even better looking roads. No major issues to report at all, including with the drive times. Looks like if you're headed westbound, County Line to Alexander, you will be there in under 5 minutes. Not bad at all. Dia?
All right, thank you, Jazz. 10 till 7 now. The WNBA Friday Night Spotlight returns to Ion with a doubleheader tonight featuring a battle between a star rookie and a three-time finals MVP. The first game sees Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever hosting Diana Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury. That's followed by a clash between the Minnesota Lynx and the Seattle Storm. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock. You can watch the game over the air on Channel 66 using a digital antenna. Ion and ABC Action News are both owned by the EW Scripps Company.
Here's a look at your Tampa Bay area drive times.
No matter how you've been hurt, in a car accident, on the job, or from a medical mistake, it doesn't matter. Life goes on. How that life goes on is where we come in. Farah and Farah.
We know many of you are still struggling to put food on your dinner table. The Juvenile Welfare Board and St. Pete Free Clinic want to help you today. This is going to happen tomorrow morning. They're teaming up to hand out 52-pound bags of fresh produce and non-perishable canned goods. You can pick up your free food starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Childs Park YMCA. That's on 43rd Street South in St. Pete. Make sure you get there early because it's first come, first serve.
Speaking of helping families, that's the mission of the Andrew Joseph Foundation. The organization inviting you to its fundraiser tonight. Starts at 7 o'clock at the Rydam Cowboy Bar in St. Pete. There'll be live music, food, other fun activities. The group also accepting school supplies at the event. Tickets $10 can be purchased on Eventbrite. Greg?
Take a look at your weekend forecast. All right, it's not going to be a washout, but it's July. This is the peak of our rainy season, so both days stand on seeing pop-up showers and storms from the morning to the afternoon. I think if there's one day that will have a more clear pattern, it is Sunday, with the morning drier and the afternoon and evening likely wetter along the coast as the storms push back to the west during the afternoon. Jazz?
All right, Greg, still tracking that one issue in Gibsonia. Looks like we've still got that left lane blocked on US 98 southbound. That's just before Griffin Road, but the rest of our map still in great condition. So we'll keep our eyes on it, of course. Dia?
All right, thank you, Jazz. The first day of school in the Bay Area is exactly 1 month from today, but the best shopping deals are only days away. Coming up at 7, tips on how to save and not buy unnecessary items. Good Morning Tampa Bay at 7 is up next on ABC Action News Plus. We hope you'll add us to your favorite streaming device for more local news, weather, and traffic. We hope to see you again at 7. If not, have a great day.
It's about time to watch on your time. Whether it's going to be mostly this or partly this, or maybe grab this. It's about time we fit into your schedule. Streaming local weather 24/7. Search for ABC Action News on your device.
ABC Action Weather streaming 24/7 is brought to you by Farah & Farah Personal Injury Attorneys. farahandfarah.com, Tampa.
ABC Action Traffic is sponsored by Culpeper Kirland.